We lead off this half hour with Peyton Manning, one of the greatest, of course, and most popular football players of all time. He's now fighting back, blasting a report accusing him of using banned human growth hormone to allegedly help him recover from a career-threatening neck injury. He says it's completely not true, and ABC's Ryan Smith has the very latest for us. Ryan, good morning.
Good morning, David. After a devastating neck injury, Peyton Manning made one of the most stunning recoveries in NFL history, winning the Comeback Player of the Year award the very next season and his 5th MVP award the year after. Now an Al Jazeera documentary alleges he received banned substances during that recovery, and the star angrily denying it.
It's the Al Jazeera documentary making allegations about NFL star Peyton Manning and sending shockwaves through the NFL.
Him and his wife would come in after hours to get IVs and
The Dark Side, showing Charles Sly, who it claimed was a pharmacist at the Geyer Institute in Indianapolis, the same institute that helped rehab the Super Bowl champ in 2011 after he broke his neck playing for the Indianapolis Colts. Sly claiming Manning was sent human growth hormone, a performance-enhancing drug banned from the NFL, using his wife as cover.
And all the time we would be sending Ashley Manning drugs, like growth hormone, all the time, everywhere. Florida. It would never be under Peyton's name. It would always be under her name.
But over the weekend, Manning sacking those allegations.
It's completely fabricated, complete trash, garbage.
And furious at claims leveled at his wife.
Makes me sick that it brings Ashley into it.
That 2011 injury, so serious, many claimed it would end Manning's career. But his reemergence, the stuff of legend.
It stings me, whoever this guy is, insinuating that I cut corners. I broke NFL rules in order to get healthy. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke.
The Geyer Institute slamming Sly, saying he was nothing more than a 3-month unpaid intern in 2013. When Manning wasn't being treated. Now Sly says he made it all up to test the reporter and recanting in a video posted online.
The statements on any recordings or communications that Al Jazeera plans to air are absolutely false and incorrect.
Never met this guy.
Firmly in his corner, Manning's teams. The Indianapolis Colts calling the Al Jazeera report utterly ridiculous. His current team, the Denver Broncos, saying we do not find this story credible.
While Al Jazeera says they confirmed Sly was working at the Institute in 2011, the Geyer Institute adds that Sly, quote, fabricated this whole thing for reasons they cannot fathom and claim he wasn't even there while Manning was being treated, David.
Well, really doesn't make sense. Ryan Smith, thanks. Let's get right to ABC legal analyst Dan Abrams with us here on a Monday. First of all, you heard what Peyton Manning said there. He said it's complete trash. Can he sue?
He certainly could sue. I don't think he will, and here's why. Even if it's false, he'd still have to show as a legal matter that there was, quote, reckless disregard for the truth by Al Jazeera. What does that mean? It means because he's a public figure, he doesn't have to just show it was false. He's going to have to show that Al Jazeera knew or should have known that it was false. That's a much tougher legal standard. Also, when you're talking about defamation, if he sues, a lot of other stuff about his personal life ends up coming in to determine were there any damages, etc. I think in the end, he's not going to want that. I think he's going to talk about suing. I don't think he's going to end up suing.
It can turn into a real mess. But in the meantime, that video there of the young man sort of recanting his story, taking it back, how big of a deal is that? And does that play a major factor here in deciding whether to sue?
Yeah, that could certainly help his lawsuit, right? I mean, he sues and he says it's false, and they should have known it was false because he would argue, you know, a little bit of investigating, a little pushing of this guy, and you too would have been able to determine that this was false. So that would be a very important factor in any lawsuit.
But Dan, even if he doesn't go after the folks who reported the story, can he go after the guy who was behind it initially?
He sure could, and that would be a much easier lawsuit. That would be a much easier lawsuit with regard to slander. But again, I don't think that he's going to want that, meaning this is also a guy who doesn't have the kind of resources that a media company has. I would think if he's going to sue, he would sue Al Jazeera. He would say they're the ones who were irresponsible to put this on the air. They're the ones who did this undercover video. They're the ones who should be responsible here.
All right, Dan Abrams on the big Peyton Manning headline this morning. Dan, always good to have you.